do a quick video of some of the upgrades I did on the boat. First things first, I did fire up the motor this morning, okay? And I used these cheap Walmart clamps. And I used it last year for the first time, and it seemed to work fine. So what I did was I clamped it, of course, back here to practice putting on the, put water to the motor, the lower end. And the water was running good. I sealed it up the best I could. It wasn't really, some water was leaking out, obviously. Then I fired up the motor, and it was running. And I looked back, and water was squirting out of the thing, the little pee hole, like it's supposed to. And if you don't get water coming out of this, in case you don't know, in case you're doing this for the first time or something, you got to have water coming out of this while the motor's running. Or this whole unit here gets hot, fries your motor. The whole thing gets fried. So you got to have water coming out of there. Well, what I did was I looked back, I see water coming out of here, it's hitting the fence. I'm like, we're good. And then it just stopped. I'm like, what the heck is going on? So shut the motor off and come out, and the stupid clamp thing is laying on the ground. So I figured, well, I don't know what's going on now. That's all, the problem was? Well, I didn't know for sure if it was something wrong with the impeller, which is what brings the water from the lower unit up through the motor and out that little hole, okay? And so, being that this is a used boat, you're kind of like, don't know what the story is for everything, but it worked great last year. So I got the wife out here and I redid it, and she was watching, and sure enough, I fired it up and water was coming out of the little pee hole there, but then the damn ears thing or whatever fell back off. So that's probably the whole problem. It's just junk. Maybe next time I'll put a strap around it and hold it down so it doesn't fall off. Just have to be careful, obviously, with the strap going around here, that I don't, if I were to put it in gear, I'd have to be careful. But what a scary moment for nothing, really. Well, anyhow, I wanted to tell you some of the things I did to the boat. The main stuff is up front. Everything else is basically the same. I think needs a good cleaning, needs a good vacuuming. Actually, I'm going to do that probably today. But I had a bow-mounted motor that was foot controlled, and to be perfectly honest with you, I couldn't figure it out. It's a 55-pound thrust, which is plenty for this boat, and it did work. It just, I couldn't control it. Every time I were to step on the pedal for the battery to kick on, I'd be pressing too hard, and the motor would veer right. Instead of just turning it on, I would be steering right. And so then the only way to really work it would be to put it on continuous motion, continuous power, put it on a low speed, and then just work the pedal wherever you wanted to go. But I just didn't like it. I couldn't work this stupid pedal. So I decided to get rid of it. So I sold it. And what I bought was a Minn Kota Edge front-mounted, hand-controlled trolling motor. Now this is maybe not long enough of a shaft. I don't know. I believe it will be okay once I get out in the water. But what happens in this situation was the handle can go and rotate, and it rotates upward at an angle. And then I put a extra extension, and this comes out. So if I want to, I'm going to tilt this handle upward towards me, and even if the head is down here somewhere and the shaft is in the water like I need, with the angle and the extension, I should be able to control it no problem. I'm believing that's the way it'll be. Won't know till I get there, obviously, but I'm hoping that everything works according to plan. Then I also, because this is a twist operation for speed, I put I don't know if you can see this or not, let me see. I put a push button for power. So you step on it, you get power, and then the motor spins. So you don't have to like continually turn the handle to whatever speed you want. You could set it at say 3 or 2 or whatever you feel like you need to move the boat, just a little bit at a time. Step on the pedal and just turn, turn the handle whichever way you're gonna go. And a moron like myself, I can actually figure that out. Between this and I have a motor for the transom that is basically a 55-pound, I should be able to move this boat no problem on electric only waters. That's the key, because there's a lot of places we go electric only. So that's the one thing I got. And then I also bought a anchoring system, and I don't really want to anchor ever because it's a pain in the neck. But I needed something that I could, drop an anchor in, and then have a place to store the rope instead of all over my feet. This way I can drop it in and I could crank it up. Even if it's a little heavy, I'll bring the rope in and then crank it by hand, just so I could, get it out of the way and not have water and wet rope all over the place. And so in the storage bin there, I have my anchor along with other stuff for the anchoring system. And what I did was I put on this, and this is probably going to be replaced, but I put one of these loops in like a carabiner that locks, and I could swap out different anchors. If I buy like a 7-pounder, 8-pounder, whatever, and that might be enough someday to hold a boat. Right now I think I got a 12-pounder and with chain, so if you drop it out, I don't believe I'll go anywhere. But once again, we'll find out. But that's just something I wanted to show you, and I wanted everyone to be aware. If you do this kind of stuff by yourself, and unfortunately I had to until the wife got out here, was these cheap ears, you got to be careful, because if you're not paying attention, you could run your motor way too hot and ruin it. So be careful of this. These things are not fantastic. I mean, I'll continue to use it, but with a strap, so that way I could put tension on here. I thought about maybe bending this in more or whatever, but to be honest with you, I don't have any faith in it now. So be aware of that kind of stuff, all right? And finishing off my PVC, gluing the rest of it. I wanted to finish off gluing the tops. I had to set this to the proper angles and stuff before I finished off the top of it. Now I'm pretty sure it's going to work okay, so I figure I'd finish it off. All right, thanks for watching. Just to recap, the boat cover is now back on. I glued the pieces together so that now I can take off this whole side, that whole side. It all pulls out, and then the pipe goes in the middle and it stays put. Now hopefully this will work. This boat cover just seems a little too big for me. I don't have enough to keep it tight. Not enough strap, like, oh, forgot one. I gotta get that one on. But fired up the motor, seems to be okay. Won't know till I take it out. Now I use ethanol-free gas. I also put stabilizer in it. Maybe that helped fire up the boat. It cranked a little bit till finally I got it going. But the big concern is that the motor has to run, because I don't have the money to fix it. And even though I go in mostly electric only places, it's one of those things where you like to have the big motor so that you could take it to a couple places, then buzz around if you'd like to do family stuff, which I will do. That's a lot of fun, just buzzing around. It's like taking the family for a ride, basically. And well, thanks for watching. Now my son did tell me, Brian, he went fishing to Lesser Lake or Leaser Lake. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. We always call it Lesser because you don't catch that much. Well, anyhow, he went out there on the Pelican Bass Raider with his wife Brittany, and he was only fishing and she's just sunbathing, I believe. Anyhow, he caught a muskie. place is known for muskies, and he caught one. And he caught one on a Nico rig, which basically is a wacky worm, you know, hooked in the middle, except you put like a nail weight in the one nose. And he said he threw it out towards some trees and like brush, which the place is loaded with that. And he thought he got snagged, and here it was a muskie. And so I'll load up a picture with that, and you can see a couple pictures of the muskie, so just to get her in some footage here. All right, well, thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. And hang on, we're gonna actually go fishing sooner or later. All right.